Hey Raider fans, we're approaching week 1 and we've already got drama. Hold on just a second. Alright, here we go. First thing, really on board with the hiring of Mike Mayock as a general manager. And the reason was, I don't believe that you put somebody in power. You don't fast track somebody like that without some sort of experience in that field. Mike Mayock has no experience as a general manager. Let's be honest. There's 32 NFL teams. How many times in the last 10 years have you ever heard of a general manager and a player having to be separated over a disagreement where the player felt like they should physically, well, not even physically, where they should threaten physical harm to an NFL executive? You just don't hear about it. You don't hear about it. D. Dixon, you could come off and label AB as a brat, but I have to disagree with you. I have to disagree with you. You're not a brat if you're just expressing yourself. He said he wasn't happy with the fine. Okay, I don't see how that's being a brat. That's just being a man. If you're not happy with something and you voice your opinion that you're not happy with it, that's all right. You go to work, right? If you have a job and you go to work and your boss comes to you and says to you, I'm not happy with your performance. Okay, do you just sit there and say, all right, boss, you're not happy with my performance? Or your evaluator comes to you and says, look, you're not up to par right now. And since you're not up to par, we can't promote you, we can't give you a pay increase, or we got to fine you, right? You just take it. A lot of people, a lot of society, are sheep. So yeah, they're just going to take it. But then there are some in society that are going to speak up and say, hey, no, this ain't right, And then you portray a certain relationship, but you're showing me different. And that's basically what I see. The Raiders and Mike Mayock, it seems like they're leading AB to believe that it's supposed to be one way, yeah, with the coach and the players. But Mike Mayock is taking a tone in management that I've never seen before. I don't see how. D. Dixon, give me an example of bad behavior. What has he done that's detrimental to the team? Give me something specific. He has a right to appeal his helmet. So I don't know how that's bad behavior. If you feel like in the NFL, if you feel like your equipment is wrong or it's going to hinder you from doing your job, because this is how you get paid in the NFL. We're talking millions of dollars. You have a right to voice that. If that's what you're calling a bad player, you know what I'm saying, or a bad attitude, sir, you got a problem. This is like ultimately, and I believe the reports. I 100% believe the reports that Mike Mayock rolled up on AB in front of everybody during a practice and had discourse with AB about his Instagram tweet. I believe that happened. Otherwise, I don't see AB. I don't see AB rolling with all the players to Mike Mayock's office to have discourse about an Instagram tweet. If I'm said player I tweet something on Instagram that management don't like, I'm not gonna go to management and say, "Oh, you don't like this?" Nah, that ain't how I roll. Usually, when you do something like that, the offending party, the people who are offended, they come to you and they let you know that they're offended. And I guarantee you, when Mike Mayock approached AB about it, whether it was at a distance or face to face, when Mike Mayock approached AB about it, he didn't pull him to the side. Okay, so now it's a public display of bad intentions. You have now put AB on the spot in front of all the players, in front of all the coaching staff. So now AB probably feels like, look, just like Mike Mayock felt, I have to set a precedent. Mike Mayock felt like he has to set a precedent with said player. Antonio Brown felt like he had to set a precedent with said executive. So you got two egos who are going to show down, and they're going to show down. AB's like, look, I ain't taking no mess from you. And Mike Mayock's pretty much the same way. I'm not taking no mess from you. And whatever was said was said. We weren't there. We don't know. I'm hearing things of, people talking about punting someone's head and all of that. I don't know if that to be true. I do not condone workplace violence or the threat of workplace violence. But again, this is the NFL, and violence is a part of the game. So, again, I ask you, what did he do was wrong? I mean, you should know when you step out on a practice field or a playing field or in the locker room, that's like aggression, like the testosterone in that area, in that environment, is already at a very high level. If you've watched, and I know Mike Mayock has, if you watch Antonio Brown practice, his emotions, he's a very emotional player. He's a very emotional practice player. He's a very emotional guy. Say what you will, you guys, you can trivialize it and call him a diva and all of that. Yeah, 49ers real classy, right, buddy? I mean, I don't even want to go there right now. The 49ers got problems too. They're just like, not big hyped up problems. 49ers, take that to another vlog. Right now we're talking about the Raiders. Anyway, like I was saying, when you got two egos clashing like that, somebody has to come out and prevail over this. If now I don't know if Mark Davis was there. I was saying this on another forum. If Mark Davis is there, if Mark Davis is aware that this is a problem, this is not a problem that John Gruden can solve. This is like beyond his pay scale. This is a problem somebody higher than the GM needs to step in and smash this. If I'm Mark Davis, I pull Mike Mayock to the side. I don't even pull him to the side. I do like I used to do. I bring him into my office, and I have the lights a little low, and I'm setting a tone in that room where he knows ain't no games. I've invested $30+ million in this one player. You, Mike Mayock, if I'm the owner, you, Mike Mayock, need to find a way to make this work. Who cares what he posts on Instagram? How is that affecting his practice? How is that affecting him catching touchdowns? How is that affecting his relationship with the quarterback and the coach? Nobody else cares about that. So I don't ever want to hear about not just with AB. I don't ever want to hear about another confrontation, Mike Mayock, with you and another player in on the field. It's not about Antonio Brown undermining the GM, because this is a private conversation between the owner and the GM. This is a conversation that the owner needs to have with the general manager. He needs to do a better job of managing. And the first thing you got to do, a lot of you guys probably never been, in a managerial role, but one of the first things you got to do as a manager is suck up your ego. You know what I'm saying? Because your ego don't have all the answers. And if you don't have any experience, you might want to fall to somebody that has a little bit more experience than you. Or, get a group of people together to say, a group of different general managers together, hey, how did you handle this problem? When this player did this, what did you do about it? Mike Mayock has the cachet to go around the league, and engage these situations before he opens his mouth. I knew Mike Mayock had a problem when he came out on national television and he issued an ultimatum to AB. That was the begin to me. To publicly, he probably was doing that before, behind closed doors, but to do that on national television, to bring your air your dirty laundry in public like that, that's where the Steelers went bad. Had Big Ben had not aired laundry in the first place, Antonio Brown would probably still be a Steeler. And the Steelers would have paid Antonio Brown. But they went a different route. Some of you guys are talking about, what about AB's ego? What about AB's ego? AB's ego got him to where he is now. You know what I'm saying? The only reason why there's a sideshow is because the Raiders are mismanaging Antonio Brown. That's why there's a sideshow. That's why you even get to see AB's ego. Now, if I'm Mike Mayock, am I upset that Antonio Brown took my fine and posted on Instagram? No. Do I confront Antonio Brown about posting my fine on Instagram? Hell no. You know what I'm saying? Because the message was sent. And I would have left it as a manager. The message was sent. I'm glad he went out and told the whole world that I got fined for not following Raiders regulations. I agree. I don't think Mike Mayock is qualified to be a GM. But anyway, as Zennie would say, I digress. I'm glad that if I'm Mike Mayock, I'm glad that he did it. So I just let that go, because if you're going to continue to act this way, like the letter said, there'll be more fines, there'll be more repercussions. Period. Period. Point blank. But you don't confront the guy in front of the rest of the team about it. Mike Mayock, you do like I suggest Mark Davis do with you. Mike Mayock, to be totally honest, you swallow your pride, you swallow your ego, you pull said player into your office. Hey, how you doing, Antonio? How's it going? Why'd you post the fine on the internet? And the message that you left was so cryptic, I didn't understand it. What's that about? It's just me and you talking, Antonio. I'm trying to get an understanding, so we can go forward with each other in a respectful manner. Because I felt a little disrespected there. Now this is just me and Antonio having a little discourse, face to face, mano a mano. Everybody checks their egos. He doesn't feel like he's getting fronted out in front of the rest of the team and the coaches. And Mike Mayock doesn't have to put on a facade like he's a tough guy. Because we all know that ain't his life. All right, say what you want. He can be the leader and all of that. He's not going to, Antonio, not everybody's going to be a choir boy. Not everybody's going to be a character guy. That's just not his role. And Mike Mayock, you knew that when you signed him. Straight up. This is a guy that was in the locker room recording his coaches. Actually, he was on live, Instagram live, while his coach was addressing the team. This is a guy that has... Discourse is not soft. Discourse is a way that men, businessmen, and men of great character get things done. You talk things over, as a family, because that's what the Raiders are promoting, right? That they're a family. When you're a family, you have discourse. You talk about it, you get things done, and you move on. You don't have an ego and this ego, and you butt heads to everybody. Because now, Mike Mayock, what you're showing the rest of the team is, I'm ready to roll. You guys ready to roll against each other? I'm ready to roll against you. It's me against the rest of you guys. It's not me as one of you guys. It's me. And I'm pretty sure Gruden tried to calm both parties down. But at the end of the day, Mike Mayock is John Gruden's hire. And he's got to back his boy. So, and even though he has his $100 million contract, and this is something that a lot of people don't talk about, because the great Al Davis taught us a lot. And if you don't believe me, let's go back and rewind the tape when Al Davis fired a coach for cause and didn't have to pay him the rest of his guaranteed salary. Let's go back to that. Because I guarantee you, if Mark wants to fire John Gruden for cause, this episode right here is a good reason to. Because John Gruden, you hired, I allowed you to hire whatever GM you wanted. You brought in a guy that was inexperienced. You brought in a guy that spent millions of cap dollars, and not even within 8 months of trading for a player that the league known was a bit of a problem. You had already gotten like negative discourse with that player, and he's gone from the team. And now we have all this dead cap money, and we're trying to go to Vegas on a positive note, and this is not what it looks positive. So, just keep that in mind. Ain't nothing forever, and no contract is guaranteed. I don't care what nobody says. And the Raiders, I guarantee you this. I've been to court. I've seen how the Raiders operate in court. So, they're used to that. Mark Davis has been indoctrinized in that life by his father. It is nothing to go to court. And I guarantee you, Mark Davis, with his NFL buddies, because they're all going to stick together. At the end of the day, NFL owners are going to stick together. And if he wants to get rid of John Gruden for cause, they will back him. Because at the same time, when one of the other owners do something, they want the other owners to back them. Straight up. That's just how it works. So Antonio is just an enigma that Mike Mayock has to figure out. And I'll listen to Drew Rosenhaus who is Antonio Brown's agent, it sounds like, it's over with. It's done and over with in AB's camp. They're just ready to have this discourse to hash it out, and that's that. The end. They like AB could still play Monday night. The Raiders haven't suspended him. All the Raiders did, and I want to dispel this rumor right here because this came from Drew Rosenhaus. It wasn't that AB decided not to show up to practice today. Drew Rosenhaus came out and said on NFL Network, the Raiders asked him not to show up today. So this wasn't a thing where, AB just didn't show up to practice because he was mad at Mike Mayock. You know what I'm saying? This guy's getting paid millions of dollars. And he wants to, I guarantee you, if he's like such a diva, like you guys say, the biggest stage is Monday Night Football. And he wants to put on a show for Monday Night Football. And so does Mark Davis. I guarantee you Mark Davis is looking at his shiny new piece. I can't believe we got this shiny new piece on Monday Night Football, and we're not going to get to showcase it. With all the sponsorship, all the ad revenue we would have coming, and you guys are messing this thing up. He's got to be. If Mark Davis didn't second guess John Gruden's hire last season, I guarantee you now, because you can't 2 years in a row. There's drama at the beginning of your seasons. 2 years in a row. First the Khalil Mack thing, and then now the Antonio Brown thing at the beginning of the season. We're gonna start off like this 2 years in a row. Do I give you a third chance? Is it 3 strikes and you're out? Do I just bite the bullet for $100 million, which I guarantee you he won't. He will fire him for cause. He will. This is like the last incident. I guarantee you this is the last incident for John Gruden and Mike Mayock. Mike Mayock ain't been there that long. I know a lot of you guys don't want to hear that that Chucky could be on his way out already. But I'm reading the writing on the wall, and Mark Davis to me has not shown that he is a foolish guy. He seems to be very, very smart. Everything that he's accomplished, everything that he was set out to do, except for getting the Super Bowl for the Raiders. And honestly, I see that happening one day. He's just gonna keep chugging along until he perfects his process. And then once he does, I think we'll be impressed. I definitely think we'll be impressed. But as for now, he's learning as he's going, like everyone else, every other new owner in the league. So, I'm gonna give Mark Davis more leeway being an owner than I would other teams. Now, with that being said, Mike Mayock on the other hand, and any other journalist that comes into an NFL executive room, guess what? The Texans are having a training on how to run an organization, an NFL organization. Might not be a bad idea for some of you guys to take them up on that offer. I don't know how, they could have found another title for Mike Mayock other than general manager. My name is Donald Richardson. I've been on this channel for a while, but yeah. Sorry about that, Tito. That's just how I'm going. That's just how I roll. But anyway, Mike Mayock, I'm rooting for the guy because I'm a Raiders fan. So I know it doesn't sound like it, even though I called for him to get fired. That's just my gut feeling. Like my business side, the business side of me, and I run an okay business. It's kind of successful, but you know, I as a business person, as a businessman or woman, some days you're gonna have adversities with employees, business partners, vendors, and you gotta manage that. You know, I once had a guy who was coming to my business for service for 5 straight years. 5 years. And the majority of those years, you know, because I like my money, I had to put up with him uh, telling me how shitty my service was. Excuse my language. But he would tell me how bad my service was. But he wouldn't go anywhere else. He wouldn't go anywhere else, you know. And we all knew why he wouldn't go anywhere else, you know. And the main reason why he wouldn't go anywhere else is because he had to check his ego at the door. He had to check his personal feelings about me at the door. As I, when I would hear him, you know, he wouldn't badmouth me to other people. This is just face. He would tell me his personal feelings about me and my business face to face, and he would keep it at that. And how do I know he would keep it at that? Because I never heard rumblings from other people, from other vendors, from other contractors. But from him, he would just tell me straight up. And yeah, I could have got rid of him, and you know, people are always going to come in, but I had to check my ego at the door. This is business. I could care less about his personal feelings. Let's make this money. Go on, you know, we go our separate ways. I don't have to take you home. You're not taking me home. We both here to feed our families. That's it. That's it. That's the attitude Mike Mayock got to bring to the table especially when you're dealing with if this is the if this is the attitude that you're going to bring to the table, my employees, instead of because like a lot of people that can tell you that know me, and some of you guys are going to meet these people sooner than later. If you work with me, because I've never said I'm the boss, or you know, like even though I am quote unquote the boss, you know, I own my business. I've never treated people like you're my employee and this is how things are going to go. No, I've always treated them with respect. I've always treated them as a partner in this business, because if my business is not making money, I don't have money to pay you. And in order for you to be the most effective in your job, you know what I'm saying? I need you to feel like you have a what's the word I'm looking here for? I need you to feel like you have a stake in it, you know. And I guarantee you that's not what Mike Mayock's doing with Antonio Brown. You know, he's coming off as I'm the boss. You know, I could trade you or cut you at will, and that's that. And that's just not the right way to roll when you're in management. You know, you got to manage egos. You got to manage your own ego, and go about the business of making the team better. You're not making the team better by getting into negative discourse with employees. How do you deal with an employee threatening you in front of other employees? Well, first of all, hold on, let me. My dear Watson, let's address that. You don't have conversations about something negative or something that affects you personally in front of other employees. You don't do that. As a manager, you don't do that. if when you're at work, does your boss talk to you about a fine that you may have got, or maybe they have to ding you for pay, or talk about an absence from work? Do they do that in front of the rest of the employees where you work? No, they don't. Even if you put it out there, even if you put it out to everybody at work that you're not happy with your workplace, my dear Watson, when you're at work, management has to operate at a higher level. They have to operate at a higher level. So if you don't want a confrontation to get out like that, you don't facilitate that conversation like that in front of others. You don't pull them to the side in front of everybody. You don't roll up on them with other executives and have discourse. You get your quality control guy. You get your quality control guy, right? This is how it works in the NFL. You send a message to the quality control guy. Mike Mayock wants to see Antonio Brown in his office. Quality control guy goes to Antonio Brown, and he sends a message to Antonio Brown. We need you to come to Mike Mayock's office right now. All right. Now, the quality control guy escorts him to the office. The quality control guy leaves. He's done his job. Now it's just Antonio Brown and Mike Mayock in the office. Antonio Brown, per CBA rules, since he's talking to the general manager, Antonio Brown has an option to talk to Mike Mayock alone, or he can say, excuse me, Mr. Mayock, before we have discourse, I'd like to get my representation. And Mike Mayock can ask him, are you okay with doing this without representation? Because I just want to have a chat with you on a personal level. And Antonio Brown, he'll say, no, I prefer to have my representation. And I guarantee you that's how it's been. Because it seems like Drew Rosenhaus is up on board with everything that's happened with Mike Mayock. And I'm pretty sure the NFL Players Association is up on board with everything that's gone down with Mike Mayock. We're not dealing with a stupid guy here. We're dealing with a guy who knows how to exercise his rights per CBA, and we know we're dealing with a guy who knows how to exercise his rights, you know what I'm saying, as far as the NFL is concerned. So Mike Mayock may not be affluent to all of that, and it's frustrating. It's frustrating to him. I've been in that position. I've been in a leadership position before I owned my own business, and as a new supervisor with little experience, I knew everything about the job, but as far as managing people, I knew very little. Very little. And I had to take my bumps and bruises. That's why I see both sides of the coin. I get where Mike Mayock's coming from, but I've been an employee and a worker bee too, and I get where Antonio Brown's coming from. It's just easier, and it's more facilitative for the team if Mike Mayock chews up his ego, swallow his pride, and just goes about it a different way. But if you come at it with the hammer of Thor, and you want to show off to the guy who's a media, just like, as far as the Raiders concerned, he's a media god right now. You're going to lose. Right now, Antonio Brown is getting all the bad press. When all the details come out, the Raiders are going to look bad in this again. And it's going to look like, because you guys know how it is, man. The winds of media change within a whim. Right now, the story is, you know, AB's bad attitude and da 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 da. Once AB is on the field making plays, or once AB is gone from the team, the story is going to change to the mismanagement, mishandling of Antonio Brown by the Raiders. Period. You guys don't believe me? Remember when a lot of you guys were saying Randy Moss was a bust and he's got a bad attitude and he's this and that? You know, a lot of you guys still don't like Randy Moss from his days in Oakland. And that one soundbite, I never was a Raider, I never was a Raider. Okay, that's fine. But what did he do once he left Oakland? He became an integral part of the most prolific offense that the league has ever seen once he left the Raiders. So it's all about your management style and how you're going to manage these kids, these guys, these men. Sorry. Anyway, that's my spill on the Raiders and Antonio Brown. I'm going to get with you guys later. Like I said, look for me to live stream on the 9th in the at the Oakland Coliseum. Monday Night Football. I'm probably going to live stream in my seat, in my section, because, you know, it's like where I went back to the section when I could first afford to buy tickets, but through the season, I'm going to be a little bit of everywhere. So I got season tickets in my original section because I'm going to miss those guys, and I want to see those guys every time we come together. I haven't decided, I might do something special for the channel Monday night. I'm still deciding on it. And, you know, I talked to Zennie. He already gave me the thumbs up on it. So I just got to decide if I want it out. I want to put myself out there like that. Because I don't know where I'm at on that. I just don't know where I'm at on that yet. Anyway, it's good talking to you guys. Thanks for all the comments. This is Donald Richardson out.